Sir, welcome to another episode. And incidentally, this is my first all English episode, sir.
Thank you, Sridhar sir. It's a wonderful idea that we are going to reach out to hundreds of your fans who have been watching your Tamil program and I believe Telugu program also. Now they will get to hear in English, which should cover a lot of our friends and well-wishers in southern India. Great idea, sir. All the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I want to start by congratulating Modi for being elected, right, as the Prime Minister again. Now, this is no ordinary feat, sir. Sir, your opening statement on this topic, sir.
Well, sir, this was an unexpected election and with an unexpected result. And this is one election which I always said, where those who won the election feel they have been defeated. And those who have been defeated feel they are so elated, they think they have won the election. But if you, as they say, the devil is in the details. So you can see what has happened. And I tend to believe, after what I have seen in this election, that Indian democracy has some kind of an autocorrect. In the sense, we saw it happen. Whenever, you find that the ruling party is getting into a mold where it is drawing a lot more strength and a lot more support, but at the same time, it is getting impervious to certain ground situation, then the contrary thing happens, where the opposition voices get heard and there is some balance is restored. I do not know whether Indian voters do consciously, but some of the issues that came up in the campaign, that is, there is over-concentration of power in the hands of the government, the opposition is not able getting its say, and then the government is having its way in all matters. There is no dialogue, there is no consensus, and every parliament session has been a sort of fireworks. All these things adding to the fact that, opposition is put to a lot of difficulty and they have been at a disadvantage. There is no, all these things were part of the narrative. A lot of it is not true, I believe. But at the same time, there were, events and incidents and things which also added to the feeling, probably these are all true. All the charges that are made against the government, against the Prime Minister are true. But the fact is, Prime Minister for the last 10 years has done wonderful work in terms of governance, improving the quality of things and quality of life for a lot of Indians. But then given the size of our country, a lot of Indians still need a helping hand, and particularly issues like unemployment, both in the rural as well as in urban areas. And the fact that we went through a phase of economic slowdown first, then COVID-19 and its aftermath, a good number of years were lost. I mean, at least a couple of years or even 3 years were lost in the last 5 years. So whatever you have seen is picking up from the last two. So there was bound to be some kind of a thing. But at the same time, opposition succeeded in something which the government could not prevent, which is what, they managed to give the impression this whole Prime Minister's call for 400 plus seats has something to do with some sinister design to do away with reservation for the underprivileged, particularly our Dalits and tribals. And the whole idea is to bring about such a big change where the opposition would, anybody opposing Modi would be put to a disadvantage. These were all a sort of a campaign that somehow struck chord, at least some section of the voters, if not all. So you saw a result where people voting for the government as well as for the opposition, thereby restoring some balance, but then leaving Prime Minister with a mandate that would need complete reworking of his style of approach, his style of taking decisions, which will now call for Prime Minister hold more consultation with his alliance partners. Decisions are taken on the basis of consensus, sharing of information. These are all going to be new. So the big question that has dominated Sridhar sir since the results have come is, can Prime Minister Modi really manage a coalition? Is it in him to manage this? Is he capable of managing? And that question has come. But today, his election as an NDA leader, the bonhomie we saw at the election, at the meeting of the NDA parliamentary party, the kind of speeches made by TDP leader Chandrababu Naidu and the JDU leader and Bihar Chief Minister 𝗙ષ Kumar and other alliance partners give me a sense of confidence that a lot of discussions have gone on between Prime Minister and these leaders, and they all seem to be at ease that they are now going to start an exercise which is going to see greater consultation, greater consensus building for the cause of the nation. The nation first is now getting expanded, and it is not just the BJP, but BJP plus, which are its allies.
Sir, but the question in everybody's mind, sir, is how stable is Modi 3.0? And the reason I ask this is because we are seeing news coming out that Abhishek Banerjee is talking to 9 BJP MPs, right, in West Bengal. I also saw news where Mamta was actually advising Uddhav Thackeray to reach out to Eknath Shinde, right? So what's happening, sir? So what do you think about the stability of Modi 3.0?
Sir, the opposition feels rather disappointed by the mandate because power is so close, but yet so far. So they do not know how to, reconcile themselves to this kind of mandate. See, this is a mandate that has left them silent about EVM, about the functioning of the Election Commission. So if it had been a bigger sweep for Modi, they would have said, no, it is EVM, and all these things would have started. They were gearing up for a street level agitation to not accept the verdict. Even now, they may not be accepting the verdict, but they cannot say that EVM was malfunctioning or EVM helped Modi to win. They can't say that because they have also won. So therefore, that has been put to rest. I think that is a good message for democracy. That's one. Second thing is that the arithmetic is such, no matter whatever you do to attract TDP and JDU to come over to the opposition side, they'll still be short of numbers. They would need at least 12 to 15 numbers to be in a comfortable position to run the government. Or even to convince the president they have a better numbers. Which they realized, I think, the day after the results, that is on June 5th, when they met, that this is not possible. We can keep sounding as if we are ready to take over if this, if the coalition falls, the one headed by the Prime Minister falls, then we are ready. But they cannot themselves effect again. And also, sir, Chandrababu Naidu as well as Nitish, they understand the arithmetic as well as chemistry. Nitish had, after all, left that alliance and come here. And Chandrababu Naidu, himself acknowledged today at the NDA Parliamentary Party meeting that the campaign by the Prime Minister and other top BJP leaders, including Rajnath and Amit Shah and others, may not have been, may not have given BJP a boost if it had went contested alone, but definitely helped the TDP to create an environment where the TDP was seen as the most fancied. And to see Chandrababu Naidu back in a central role or a pivotal role at the center, that's something I think voters of Andhra Pradesh felt that this was important. Because in the years that Andhra Pradesh grew, particularly the greater Andhra Pradesh grew, or a united Andhra Pradesh grew before the bifurcation, was a period where Chandrababu Naidu played a big part in policies and programs of the central government.
Right.
And Chandrababu Naidu has a record of being a pro-reformist. He is not a status quoist. He is open to ideas. In fact, they say he lost his election because he was too pro-reform. The last election when he lost to Jagan. So I think in many ways this is going to be a good signal. And also let me say about Nitish Kumar sir, though he had built up an image as Susan Babu, and but subsequently because of his constant shifting of sides, which earned him the moniker, he's a Palturam and things like that. But he is also pro-reformist. You see, his initial years in Bihar, as Chief Minister, saw Bihar undergo a transformation. And that transformation saw a lot of economic indices improve. But then, given the image of Bihar over the decades, it has not been able to attract the kind of investment it needs for an industrialization or a reindustrialization. Largely, Bihar is dependent on agriculture. Now, coming to the question, why TDP and Janata Dal United will not, dump or go to the other side? One, the opposite side doesn't have numbers. Two, the opposition does not command that kind of a confidence among the people of India. People, a lot, the mandate shows or the numbers show that a lot of people still think Modi is the best bet. So at this stage, for them to go there, see, the Congress may even promise moon to Nitish, say you become Prime Minister. But then they are also aware of the fact Congress wants to buy time and who is already talking of a fresh election in the next 2 years. Today, I heard a lot of Congress leaders, now that the things are settling down and their hope of some, things breaking up or BJP not agreeing or Modi given his strong views on some issues will not concede the demands of the allies or things like that. So they have started talking about even leaders like former Chhattisgarh Chief Minister 𝗵𝗶𝗹 𝗵𝗂𝗍 has been saying that, look, we have to get ready for election in the next 2 years. So by 26, you have to be ready for election. Now, well, it's not going to be easy. Holding a Lok Sabha elections again in a matter of a year or two is not a joke, because crores of money have been spent for this great exercise. So I think the Prime Minister as well as his key alliance partners will make it work and make it happen, because this is a new experiment. And I can share one thing, sir. Modi may look as a tough leader, but then there is enough flexibility in him too for negotiations. Because none of us know, even within the party, he has negotiated a lot of things and thereby gained authority. Of course, that authority also led him to take a lot of decisions on behalf of the party. But then he also knows the current situation. Sir, Vajpayee's government in 1998 had to manage because they had only 189 MPs.
Right.
Here, BJP alone has got 240. So therefore, the situations cannot be compared. Yes, there are key areas where Modi will not like to compromise, including action on corruption. And I don't see the BJP agreeing to part with major ministries or what is considered the core ministries which constitute the Cabinet Committee on Security, say Home Ministry or External Affairs or Defense or Finance. I don't think they are going to concede that. Neither will BJP concede the speakership of Lok Sabha, because that's also important. No, I'm mentioning all this because it is going to be on a terms which that will see a lot of give and take. Chandrababu Naidu as well as Nitish Kumar are aware, given the person of Modi, it is not somebody you can push him around or you can give him a dictator agenda to him. Yes, there will be need for a dialogue, and definitely, sir, this is going to be a new chapter, and where you may see Prime Minister, despite depending on his allies to run the government, is going to usher in some major changes that is going to help the country in the long run.
$1 billion question, sir. What happened in UP? How can all exit polls go wrong, sir?
Sir, I think exit polls, or even I must confess, even I went wrong, was we did not read the ground signs more closely. The overall mood was in favor of Modi, overall mood in favor of BJP, but when it came to ground situation, local issues, there were problems. There was a lack of unity among the BJP cadres and among leaders. A lot of members of parliament of the belonging to BJP were given a second chance or even a third chance, when actually locally they were not that popular. I mean, you are bringing a person to, you are allowing a person to contest for a third time. If he or she does not command that kind of support, or he or she has not looked after her constituency, in which case, it becomes very difficult, because Modi alone cannot manage that match. He did it in 2014. He did it in 2019 to the great extent. But this time, I think certainly certain areas, the local issues came up. Where the local issues came up, I think there was a problem. And then, sir, sometimes, I've always mentioned, you may do a lot of planning, go systematically. But your opponent can do just a guerrilla tactics kind, last minute come and shoot here and there and cause casualty. That's what happened. Where the big failed was this slogan, 𝗔𝗱𝘀 𝗔𝗱𝘀. That gave enough room for mischief makers to interpret it in a different way. And unfortunately, some of the BJP leaders also fell into the trap. Some loose cannons, from people like Anantkumar Hegde from Udupi side to Lalu Singh, who is a BJP sitting MP from Faizabad, who lost the election, where Ayodhya, the Ram Temple is located. They kept saying, we need 400 plus to become big changes, which was quickly cashed on by the opposition to say, look, BJP wants to do away with reservation for OBCs, for SCs and STs. I think that sent a very wrong signal, though it was completely not true. Even the opposition relied on some fake videos that were created to show that Amit Shah is actually saying that, which he did not. And it was made out that, the Dalits are going to suffer. I think that saw a substantial Dalit vote shifting away from BJP. One is not picking up the right candidates, repeating a number of candidates. Number two, inability to check the erosion of Dalit votes. And number three, sir, among BJP leaders, in some areas, there were lack of cohesion. And that also played a part. So, sir, double engine sarkar or a double engine campaign works when the second engine, provides asperous turbo power as the first one. Otherwise, it's going to be a drag. The first engine will have to carry the second. This we have seen happen in Karnataka Assembly elections.
Right.
Despite PM's popularity, BJP could not win. And I think, sir, some kind of a complacency also set in. And elections were held in a most, I would say, uncomfortable weather or very
low
stressful weather. So much of heat, and people were joking there was no wave other than the heat wave. I think even Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar acknowledged on the day just before the polling day, the results day, he said, look, this is not the time for us to conduct elections. So we'll try to do it earlier next time. That is somewhere in March, April, because you bring it to April, May, then you are in the thick of furnace.
Sir, but I do have a very specific question here, sir. This guarantee card thing, right? So they lost elections in Telangana and Karnataka because of the guarantee card. Now they tried to do the same thing in Madhya Pradesh, but Shivraj Singh Chauhan was actually intelligent enough to bring in 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗔𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 the India alliance or against BJP. So why did BJP not counter that properly?
So somewhere along they thought that, the Prime Minister's thing would work, magic would work and all these things will get drowned. Sir, one thing, Madhya Pradesh election was not just Shivraj. See, the Prime Minister also played a big role in Madhya Pradesh assembly elections also. The same, there's a repetition. People there are not changed their minds. Even though Modi went in for a young Chief Minister, Mohan Yadav, made one of the ministers as the end. Now that Shivraj Singh Chauhan has shifted to Delhi, he is an elected member. He is expected to get a very key role in the government. Madhya Pradesh, things did not change. In Telangana, they doubled their numbers. In Kerala, they broke the jinx and got 1% elected. The actor Suresh Gopi from Thrissur. That's no small achievement. And in Tamil Nadu, sir, you look at the figures in at least 12 constituencies, they are number 2. And then you can see that I was just looking at the figures and DMK front actually votes went down because of Modi's campaign. And that is compared to 2019 when they had 53.4% vote. This time they have only 47.
Right.
And sir, in 11 constituencies, if ADMK and BJP had contested together, their votes would have ensured, the victory in 11 constituencies. The Seaman factor also was this time was a big, people always dismissed him if somebody would get less than 2-3%, but this time increased it from 3% to 8%. So obviously knocking off support from some of these parties. So the whole problem is BJP's party is forced to do 2 things. One, this is the biggest problem of BJP. BJP has to constantly win every election to show that it is in fighting fit mode. Whereas Congress has to win one election, rest the ecosystem will take care.
One in a decade?
I mean, nobody is asking Congress after all these 3 years, where have they? I mean, they have not even crossed 100. They were only 99. They managed to take one independent. Now they may be touching 100. But they won only 99 seats. But what is happening, sir? There is a Prime Minister Modi led BJP is put to a lot of tests because also of the fact that they constantly advertise about their achievements and what they have done, which brings forth the anger of their opponents who wants to also do something to undo them. So BJP has to constantly renew itself, and Prime Minister himself says that the challenge to Modi is Modi. The last 2-3 days I have seen the Prime Minister, everybody thought Prime Minister would be upset. Probably he is upset with whatever has happened. Particularly the fact that even in Varanasi, his home constituency, the margin has come down to just 1.5 lakhs. But Prime Minister also is a person who is very adaptable, as I know him. He is not some man cast in the iron. He can change. He can engage in dialogue. He can do whatever it takes to see that BJP stays ahead. That's a very big positive thing in Modi's leadership. And he has also been witness to the coalition politics of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He was Chief Minister there. So I don't think one can write off that this experiment is not going to go beyond 2 years. It may go even longer. Definitely, sir, this was a much required thing, because sometimes you need to see that Modi becomes Vajpayee also and acquires some qualities of Vajpayee. Because at the end of the day, Modi's leadership constantly needs a renewal in terms of appeal. I think this phase will add to his appeal.
Got it, sir. Sir, one more thing that I wanted to add, sir. State after state, we saw candidate selection or poor candidate selection on part of the BJP. For instance, sir, in Andhra, out of the 4 seats that they lost, 3 were contested or lost by BJP. And in one specific seat, had Janasena contested Tirupati, they would have easily won it, sir. So candidate selection, even from a standpoint of winnability, etc., because Amit Shah is always after winnability in constituencies. I don't think they went with that key slogan or mantra this time.
I do agree with you, sir, because this is what I hear from other states also, where, one is not saying that Amit Shah was responsible or X or Y or Z, but definitely I think they need to take in more inputs from their state units and go by what the state leaders say. And also, that the constitution should go to the person who can best win it for them. He may belong to any faction. That should not be a factor. But often what happens, the reality is, all the strong leaders of BJP have their own following and they cannot stand each other. And of course, these things are somehow subsided under the Modi leadership. But then there are times when these local factors play it up and they are not in a position to counter it. That is when you see this kind of result, which is actually, from a Modi's point of view, it's unfortunate. Because we have done so much in the last 10 years. And today it appears that we have to depend on some allies to manage the show. And we are just clinging on to power kind of thing. Then that is not a good for the party. Sir, even when Annamalai thing, Prime Minister kept on telling Annamalai also that BJP needs to do some groundwork, in the sense must contest alone since ADMK has left. We cannot appear, going begging, just do alliance with me and things like that. I think that advice also had a meaning. And Annamalai ensured that the visibility of BJP throughout Tamil Nadu, which is something did not happen before. You knew areas where the BJP would get support, but there was no sustained campaign by any BJP leader, which Annamalai did. Therefore, Annamalai's contribution is also important in this overall scenario. Now, I get to hear Annamalai has been summoned to Delhi because probably they are thinking of a central role for him, maybe as a minister, and so that Tamil Nadu gets a very powerful representation. Of course, Annamalai will have to get elected to the upper house from some constituency.
Telangana is coming up, but yeah.
I don't know from Telangana or even if you were to again contest again from Tamil Nadu, in case there is a vacancy or something from some other constituency, then definitely you have to work harder. You'll have to work more with more innovation. Because your opponents, particularly the DMK, they are a very powerful lot.
Right.
They know the ground and they don't have to waste their energy in other, so at least 5-6 states. Just one state and bang, bang. That's what they have to do.
Yeah, they're very organized and it's very difficult to defeat DMK on the ground. That, sir, brings us to the end of the show, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Sridhar, sir. All the best for your English channel. We'll meet often. We'll come with more issues. Yeah. What is going to happen under Modi 3.0? We are going to keep talking. There are a lot to tell and share with our viewers. There are a lot of insight going on. But we are waiting for Prime Minister to take oath on June 9. And subsequent to that, we'll closely monitor whatever is happening in the government formation, who gets to do what are actual priorities, what kind of big ticket changes will happen. These all will follow our discussion with Sridhar, sir.
Yes, I'll be happy to discuss all these different topics, sir. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.